Good morning, everybody. This is Mark, and it's Thursday, hot day in New York City, and I think all around the tri-state area. So stay cool somehow. But we're back here in the market, sitting in the office, and yesterday was Fed Day. Bernanke spoke. Not much indecision, not much damage was done. The indices actually, obviously got hit initially, and then they've worked their way back. And by the end of the day, it was such muted action that this back and forth was just noise. And I think that's where we're at. We're at a little bit of noise, where we're a little overbought still. The oscillators came down a little bit, but not to the extent where I'm confident saying, okay, let's go back all in. One more day of this digestion in the S&Ps, maybe in the Russell, maybe in the NASDAQ, and Friday we can have a follow-through day. I don't think we're going to see it today, but I do think this digestion is healthy, and it means I believe we're probably going to grind a little higher before we go a little lower. Overall, we can go across stocks. Some stocks like a Priceline and even Apple, they came back to the bases a little bit. They're still intact. Priceline especially, it had a $40, $30 move, comes back $7, $8. It's part of the game, and that's part of how things trade. One industry that did shine yesterday, the banks, J.P. Morgan, they announced that I think it was almost 2/3 or a little bit more, 80% of their hedge was covered. That obviously is good news. It traded above its 200-day, which I talked about yesterday morning. And looks good, and it's up a little bit this morning. Goldman really didn't do anything, but it's certainly on the radar. Decent digestion. GE looks good to me in that sector, and I mentioned Pru earlier on. That above 49.50, I think it's interesting, but they're not that exciting. But at the same time, I think it has to be watched. So overall, guys, you got to stay away from the noise. That's the key. If you don't have conviction on your ideas, all the stuff that I was in yesterday, I'm basically in today. And I had to handle some big travel ranges, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's part of the job as a trader. And that's why you have conviction, because if I didn't have conviction on my ideas, I would never be able to hold for the entire day, or through some of the price movements that has happened. So this morning, right now, we have a few biotechs. Onyx had some FDA up big. Not sure how it's going to react. BBY down on earnings, and RHAT is also, I believe it's RHAT. RHAT's down a little bit, and I think that's putting some of the clouds on the downside. But I like the social media stocks. I like Facebook again. It's close. It's digestion. Been digesting, and it might need one more day. Maybe a little downside action, but I think it's going to be viable again for a move back to 33. So keep it on the radar. It's something that I'm certainly watching. Apple still looks good to me, even though it's really not going anywhere, but it's just, digesting that move that it had on Monday. Like I said, the banks, a little more follow through. And, overall, guys, I think we're in for one or two more. I think it's becoming a market of stocks at this point in time, as it always is. Try to find you one or two good patterns that you see are setting up, as we had yesterday. We talked about SodaStream and MCP. Obviously, they're 1 or 1.5 days, and then that's it. They're off the radar because they don't really do a whole lot after that. You got to find those ideas at this point in time. Obviously, listening to us on the VTF sort of helps. We obviously do most of the homework in the sense of finding the charts, going through hundreds of charts, and trying to find the best ideas that seem to be ready and ripe to actually make a move, whether it's to the upside or downside. And right now, I think that's where we're at. I don't think you're going to see a whole big move in the S&Ps. I think you got to find a few stocks, a few gems in there, and go from there. Overall, my excitable level is about a 3.5 to 10. So that means I'm going to be taking a step back and waiting for some more digestion. Pick my one or two stocks out there and take advantage of it. Hit and run approach at least today, and we'll go and see what happens. And remember, the Russell rebalance is on Friday, which could be very interesting, but at the same time, for the last few years, has not really done and given us any advantage, which obviously in the past it has. So good luck, and stay out of the heat.
Hi, I'm Sean Hendelman, CEO of T3 Live, where we train, coach, and mentor traders in order to help you put your money to work with confidence. The T3 Live approach is a blueprint for you to recognize, adapt, and ultimately take advantage of different market conditions. To begin your training with T3 Live, we would like to offer you the opportunity to enroll in our free 30-day online home study course. Fill in your name and email address, and I'll see you on the other side.